Let's go next to, where do we go? How about, you know where? Let's go to, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Is it Koya from Virginia?
Yes, it is.
How are you?
Very good. I
Excellent.
would say and you, but you, sorry, said you're doing fine. But
Thank you. What's going on?
so I actually had two questions, if that's all right. And I'll try my best to keep it brief. But
Sure. It'll depend
my
on their
question,
duration. Yeah.
fair enough. I had a question about the filibuster and Pride Month and Black History Month. First, I'll go ahead and start with the filibuster.
Okay.
But with the filibuster, even on the left, there is both agreements and disagreements to keep it. Of course, the right wants it because then, all the Republicans can, continuously block things as they have for decades
Of
now.
course.
Um, but just the same, on the left, the concern is that if we remove the filibuster, that suddenly Republicans will have a much easier time pushing legislation as we should be able to do. So I was wondering on your thoughts about that.
I think that the concern that if you just destroy the filibuster, it then comes back and hurts Democrats more than it helps them today is a completely realistic and practical concern. And part of why it's practical and realistic is that Republicans have shown that they do not care about how their political maneuverings are perceived. Their side will not punish them for doing one thing when it's Obama's Supreme Court nominee and a different thing when it's Trump's, and then saying if Biden gets one, we'll do a different thing again. Their side won't hold them accountable for the dirty tricks and the hypocrisies and the maneuverings. So because Democrats have not shown a willingness to sort of get down in the mud in the same way, I'm not saying stoop to their level when it comes to corruption and immorality, but simply when it comes to doing what you have to do to get political victories. I would be very worried that the appeal of getting rid of the filibuster right now to get a couple things passed would disgustingly backfire in the future, which is why I end up thinking there should be a reformed filibuster that requires it to actually be a talking filibuster that will then, as it goes longer and longer, start to be news and maybe start to have some political consequences for Republicans, like really make them work for it. That's why I end up where I end up versus just blowing it up altogether. And it's very practical. It's, I assume, because Democrats are so incompetent, it will backfire against them.
I see.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, moving on to my second question in regards to Pride Month and Black History Month,
Sure.
there always seems to be a lot of corporate interest involved in that. And to me, I consider it like it presents a danger to me and my other fellow community members,
Yeah.
as well as just to even, straight people. And this is more in regards to Pride History Month. I'll get on to Black History Month in a moment.
Hmm.
But people in the community usually know better than to fall for the corporate interest that is put rainbows on everything, sell it here, this is how you support the community. Yet at the same time, none of the proceeds ever actually go to any um or not communities, any sort of, I forgot the word, I'm sorry. Basically, any kind
Causes?
of causes, yes, thank you,
Okay.
that can actually help people in return, the likes of, suicide hotlines for trans and, of
Right.
course, gay individuals, so on and so forth, as well as just, in regards to even trans surgery, because that stuff is expensive, especially in America.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just they only do it for themselves, and I wonder what your thoughts are on that, and even in regards to advice that you may give to other people, because they mainly prey on straight people who saying this is how you can support other LGBTQ members when in
I've
fact it
talked,
tends
yeah.
to
So
hurt
I have
us.
a bunch of segments on this. I've basically, I mean, I've likened it almost to like a fraud because
Yeah.
it is just it's a business decision is all it is, and many of these businesses have a long history of donating to anti-gay politicians while at the same time celebrating Pride Month. So yeah, check out my clips on it. I've talked about it extensively.
Alrighty, thank you.
All right. Thanks very
Um,
much. I'm going to move on because I have so many people waiting. I appreciate the call. We will take a quick break and then we'll be right back with more in mere moments. So if you're holding to talk to me, don't hang up.